Hey everybody, it's me Sarah here from Wholesale Ted, and today I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on how you can earn over $100 a day online with a digital business. And the best part? 1. To do this, you need very little technical skills. 2. Anybody can do this. It doesn't matter if you're a teenager, if you're 13, if you're 14, if you're 15, or if you're on the other side of the age scale. You can do this too. 3. This business can be semi-automated to make $100 a day passively. 4. To get started, you need very little startup money. But how much money is very little, you ask? Well, what if I said that you didn't need $500, and that you didn't need $200, and that you didn't even need $50? No. What if I said, to start this business, you will only need $20? That's right, just $20. With that, anyone can start this business. Now, full disclosure, there will be an extra step that I will include at the end of this tutorial that you can use to supercharge the amount of money that you make in the beginning. That will take your startup budget to $100. However, doing this is optional. So what is this mystery business? Well, let me show you. So I'm here on Etsy. Now, if you've never heard of Etsy, it's an online selling platform for unique items. It works a lot like eBay, but without that bidding aspect. You list your items for sale and people buy it. Selling on here is super lucrative because each year over 35 million people come and buy items from stores on Etsy. Now, Etsy started out as mostly a marketplace for handcrafted items. However, over time, Etsy has massively grown and evolved, and now people open all sorts of different stores selling all sorts of different types of items in lots of different niches. For example, there are stores that focus on creating and selling costume and cosplay items. As you can imagine, creating those types of items is very difficult, so let's not do that. And here is another type of store people open, stores that focus on sourcing and selling vintage items like books and jewellery. Going through garage sales, that sounds extremely time consuming, so that's a no. And here is another type of store that people open, stores that focus on taking cute, funny and popular sayings, memes and jokes and placing them onto items like mugs and t-shirts. Wait a minute, that sounds really easy. Now, you might not think that this sounds easy, but trust me, it is actually really easy. And in this video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how you can replicate their business and how you can sell those types of items yourself. Of course, it may be easy, but is it lucrative? Can you really make $100 a day selling these types of items? Well, let's check out one of these stores for ourselves. So I've come to an example of one of these stores that specialise in these items. Witticisms Rust, I think I pronounced it right. And as you can see, they have lots of different items that feature jokes and cute sayings. Admittedly, some of these are not family friendly. And as this is a family friendly channel, I won't be showing these, even though they do sell very well. But luckily they do have family-friendly items that are selling that I can show you that are selling very well, like this mug here. This is a very simple mug, isn't it? It features the text, "Nope." And that's just it. Just nope. But look, it's been favorited by over 400 people. That's a lot of people. This alone means I know that this is a very popular item for them. But we don't even need to guess, honestly, because if we check it out, 5 people have this item in their cart today. And if we assume that they are buying the cheaper $14 mug instead of the bigger, more expensive $19 mug, that would be making them $70 from these 5 sales alone. But it gets even better because, check this out. They have a t-shirt version of this mug, and look, 7 people have added it to their cart. That is $126 worth of sales. So far, we're up to $196. And if we check it out, 13 people have added this simple t-shirt that features text, not images, just text to their cart. That is $234 from this one t-shirt alone. Now we're up to $430 from these 3 items. Now, not all of these items that have been added to people's carts will be bought, but given the sheer volume, it's very clear that this store is doing over $100 a day. Despite how truly basic these items are, they are selling super well. But why? 1, they make funny, fun gifts for friends and family. 2, these phrases and jokes are already popular and have pre-existing demand. And bonus for us, despite it meeting this criteria, these jokes and phrases are not copyrighted and trademarked. Yes! Now, you might be thinking, well, Sarah, yes, this does look like a super basic t-shirt, I'll give you that. But I don't have a stack of Nope t-shirts in my garage to resell. They might be really super basic t-shirts, but I don't have any to list on Etsy. Well, you would be right, you don't have a bunch of them sitting at home for you to resell, but as I'm about to show you, these meme stores that are selling them don't have them sitting in their garage either. Let me show you. So I'm back here on our example store, Witticisms Russ, and if we check it out, you'll see that in their store profile, they state how they make their items, and lo and behold, they are using what is called a print-on-demand service to create and print all of their products that they're selling here on Etsy. So this here is their trick. They're using print-on-demand services to remove basically all of the risk and the headache from their business. Now, a lot of my subscribers here at Wholesale Ted will know what print-on-demand is. However, I will briefly explain it for those of you out there that are new. Here is an example of a print-on-demand service. Printify.com. I chose it because it's the #1 print-on-demand service that Etsy sellers use. What Printify does is it lets you create custom items like mugs and t-shirts. So you create an account with Printify, with the free version being perfect for beginners. You then create your products you want to sell in it. All you do is place your artwork you've created in advance and place it on top of your chosen product, like this t-shirt. And thanks to Printify's Etsy integration, you can then list your items you've created with Printify for sale in your Etsy store. Each time a customer adds one of your items to their cart and buys it, Printify's manufacturers will then be notified of the sale. They will produce and manufacture that one item, and then they will package and ship it out directly to your customer. This is a completely hands-off model, which is why it is semi-passive. And another really awesome thing about it is that you don't have to purchase your products in advance. As you can see, Printify charged $9.03 to print one custom male basic t-shirt if you have a free Printify account with them and not a premium one. Once you start making more sales, I recommend upgrading to the premium one because it will get you a discount on each item that you order. Well, as you can see, Witticisms Russ are selling their t-shirts for $18, with shipping being an additional cost for the customer. After Etsy's selling fees, which are very low by industry standards, I want to add, that would leave Witticisms Russ with $7.08 in profit per t-shirt. That is a 39% profit margin, which means that you could have a 39% profit margin if you took action. And in the future, your margins would increase even more after buying a premium Printify subscription because, of course, that would discount the items even further. These are very high profit margins, which makes it even easier to build your store up to over $100 a day in profit if you're willing to put the time and effort in to build your store. And yes, it's going to take time and patience to build your store up to be as big as Witticisms Russ. Now, if you don't have that time and you don't have that patience and you're looking for a faster business model, then I recommend that you check out our free ebook. It's called The 6 Steps That Six-Figure Dropshipping Stores Follow to Make Over $10,000 Every Month. And you can download that ebook for yourself by clicking on the link in the video description below. But, full disclosure, that business method requires more startup money. Each business model has its own pros and its own cons. Alright, but we know the plan for this business model though. We want to create our own witty t-shirts and mugs and products that we can print on demand and sell on Etsy to make over $100 a day. The question is, how do we find those jokes and memes and phrases to print onto our products? Well, honestly, the easiest way is to just go to Etsy and look at these meme joke stores and see which jokes and phrases that they are successfully turning into money-making products themselves. And you can then make your own variation of their most popular products. And let me show you why this is a good idea. So let's come to a new mug, for example. Not that type of doctor. This is a common graduate PhD joke. It's actually based on a TV trope, the trope being that the only doctors that exist in TV shows are medical doctors and not other forms of academic doctors. Now this mug comes from this store here, Strictly Business Mugs. As you can see, they are a super popular Etsy store as well, with over 9,000 sales. And like most Etsy print-on-demand stores, they've got a small percentage of super popular items that bring in regular sales, like this mug, which you can see is in 15 people's carts. People are regularly buying it. Now, some people find this mug because it's popular and snap buy it, but others, well, they will look at their options. And so they'll come to the search bar and type the item in and do a search for it to see if there are any similar mugs. And as we can see, there are, but there aren't many, there are only 5. Like if we check out this one, we can see that it's not very popular because, well, it's a pretty plain design. It uses very basic text, kind of ugly font on a plain white background. And if we open this other mug here that is very similar, we can see the exact same thing. Very boring black font on a white mug. Of course, if we check out this one, we can see that while it's more interesting, the font doesn't really fit. It really gives off a really early, like young, I'm 20s vibe. So honestly, it doesn't surprise me that coming back that this one here is by far the most popular version of it. It's got a professional looking font, which fits with the idea of what a new PhD graduate would like. And so it would be a really great opportunity to piggyback off of this phrase and create your own variation of this, because with this one, it's actually really easy to do that. For example, you could take this exact same font but switch colors around. Make the mug white and make the text black. Or you can maybe spice up the font by using this free font, Flatline Medical font, for the doctor text. And maybe you could try something a little bit different. You could print this text onto a travel mug instead to give the potential customer more options. Now I'm going to switch back to my computer because I've got another important tip for you. So as you can see, this meme joke mug store has 1,349 designs. That's a lot of designs. How do you know which ones are the best sellers for you to make your own versions of? Well, the easiest way to do that, honestly, is to focus on mugs that we know customers have added to their cart. And the easiest way to do that is to open up your browser search functionality and type, "People have added this to their cart." And if we do that, all of the items that have been added to people's carts have been highlighted so we can easily identify them and sift through them. Now, when you're sifting through these designs, focus entirely on the ones that are made out of simple artwork and ignore the ones that feature more elaborate designs and images. So for example, this is a good mug to make your own version of. It's just basic text. And as we can see, it's super popular as over 20 people have added it to their cart. But this mug, this alpaca mug, you want to ignore designs like this because it's much more elaborate, complex design that even worse features artwork. So we have to say no to it, which is a little bit sad because I absolutely love alpacas. But it is important to stick to products that only have competitors using text-based designs. Why? Well, because we've only got a $20 budget and pretty much anyone can create basic text art for free. Here's the thing, as we've discussed before on this channel, if you wanted to hire an independent designer to create an image for you by, say, hiring them on Upwork or Fiverr, you are looking at a minimum of $25 per design. So just one design breaks our $20 budget. But take a look at this. I replicated this exact same word art design on Photoshop and it took like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. It's literally just text. This is all these meme shops are doing, making basic text art and slapping it on print-on-demand products. Now I use Photoshop, which has a monthly subscription of $9.99, but you can download the free open source graphics editor software GIMP, which does the same thing. But I don't suggest that you just copy these designs. I suggest you make your own variations of the same product. So I went ahead and made my own variation here. It's very similar, but as you can see, it uses the stereotypically academic font, which makes it more targeted towards the demographic here of students. And you know, it may take you 5, 10, or maybe even 20 minutes to create one text-based design, but once you've got one design, you can repurpose it with different words, phrases, and jokes. I mean, take a look at this. This store has just created a few templates of this eat, sleep, repeat design and just plugged different words into it. It's a really easy way to create new designs to test fast. And this is important because if we take a look at the designs here at the top, these 5 designs are pretty popular, with these 2 being the most popular. They've all been added to people's carts. But if we scroll down, you'll see that the store has made a lot of other designs that are similar on different topics, but they aren't as big sellers. No one has them sitting in their cart. And this is how these stores work. They add lots of different products to their store with different jokes targeting different groups of people like soccer fans and then anime fans. And then they see which items and designs do well and which ones don't. And this is called product testing. The ones that do well stay in the store, and the ones that don't sell well will eventually get removed. And they can add lots of these jokes because they either use simple word art or they reuse word art and just plug in different jokes. So remember how we've set aside $20 in startup money? Well, now is the time that we want to use that. You see, each time you list an item on Etsy, it costs you 20 cents. The item stays up on the site for free for 4 whole months. So if you're serious about starting this business, then what I'd recommend is that over the next 1 to 2 weeks, that you go out there and you list 5 to 10 products a day following this strategy. Your goal is to get 100 products to test, and 100 products times 20 cents equals $20. And when you're listing products, make sure that you do these simple search engine optimization techniques. To do that though, we need to do a quick brainstorming session. What sort of people would want to buy this mug? Well, obviously people who want to give a funny, fun gift to their friend or their family member who either has a PhD or is soon to be graduating with one. So let's use that right now. Okay, so let's come to the search bar and start typing in PhD and see what we get. Etsy shows us in the recommended search the most commonly searched relevant keywords. And so we can see that some that are relevant are PhD gift, PhD graduation gift, and PhD mug. So what I recommend that you do is you would use this technique to research relevant keywords like that for your product and then use them in your product tags when you're listing the item. And then you want to make sure that you include these words and phrases in your item listing too. Like we can see that this seller did it here in their title. You know, consumers don't really read the titles on Etsy, to be honest. They focus on the images, so even though Etsy say not to do it, I'd recommend that you feel free to keyword stuff like they did. And make sure that you also put the joke or the phrase you're targeting in here as well. And unlike them, I recommend that you also put those keywords inside your product listing description, not just your title. And when you're writing your description, don't just put 2 lines of text. Spend time and look at top selling stores and base your description off of what they do so that you can look professional and trustworthy. And remember, Printify does have a refund policy for non-customized items, so you can take advantage of that to add further trust. So now it's up to you to go out there and list your 100 meme products on Etsy while using these search engine optimization techniques. But, of course, before we stop here, I did say that there was a bonus step that you could do to supercharge your sales, which would bump up your startup budget to $100. So what is that? Well, it's a bit sneaky, although it's perfectly legal. So I'm going to show it to you, and then you can make up your own mind about how you feel about it. So if I come here to Etsy and type in PhD mug into the search bar, below the ad results here, which you have to pay for, you'll see a bunch of mugs that Etsy's search engine algorithm chooses to sit here. Now, there are literally hundreds of different products that have been created aimed at PhD students and graduates, and yet, for some reason, our good old mug is sitting here near the very top of the results. And it's important because obviously the higher that your item sits in those results, the more likely that someone who is searching, for a PhD mug is going to find your item and therefore buy it. So here is a question: how is it that the Etsy search engine algorithm sifted through hundreds of relevant items and yet chose this particular mug to sit near the top of its results? Well, there are a few factors, but the biggest are recent sales and conversions. It's actually quite similar to the Amazon search engine algorithm, which can be gamed in a very similar way. What Etsy really wants to see is that your item has, 1, that your item has been recently purchased, 2, that a high percentage of people who opened up your item listing went ahead and bought it. So here is the step-by-step method to gaming Etsy search results to get even more sales. Step 1, create a heavily discounted coupon and give it to your friends. Basically, what you want to do is go to the coupon creator inside your Etsy account and make a coupon that applies a big discount, like say 99% to the item with a no order minimum requirement. You then want to give this coupon to your friends and make sure that they go ahead and open up an Etsy account. Step 2, have 5 friends each buy a different item using a search keyword. So now what you want them to go and do is sign into their Etsy accounts, go to the search bar and type in the keyword you're trying to target, like say PhD mug. You then want them to scroll through the results until they find your mug listing and to then go and click on it. And keep in mind that because your store will be new, there's a good chance that your item is sitting back multiple pages along the line, so make sure your friends realize that and are willing to go through and sift through the results until they find yours. Step 3, have them immediately buy the item using the discount coupon code and reimburse them. Now when they click on your item listing, make sure that they buy it immediately without leaving the page or bouncing. This will indicate to Etsy your product has a high conversion rate of people landing on your item listing to then purchasing it. Because your friends will be using a discount coupon code, your Etsy fees will be super low, and of course you can reimburse your friends for the cost of the item and the shipping. Step 4, get them to leave a review with a photo. And finally, ask your friends very nicely to please leave a review of your product and to please upload a photo when they do this, and hopefully your friends will give you a perfect 5 out of 5 star review. And for legalities and transparency, you can get your friends to say that they were given a review copy inside the review. As long as the review is reasonably detailed and includes a photo, customers will still trust it. And so as I said, this is an entirely optional step. However, it is a great way to boost 5 of your items to the top of the Etsy search results while getting reviews for your store to help build trust with new customers. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you would like even more videos and tutorials on how to build a money-making online business, then be sure to subscribe to Wholesale Ted and click that little notification bell next to it so that you don't miss out on any of our videos.